going on, everybody? This is Waning Moonlight, and it is here. Elden Ring, Nightreign. Finally. I've been looking forward to this game since it was announced all those many months ago. And it's here. And it's good. It's great. It's not perfect. It's got a few small things, but we'll get into that. Obviously, there's going to be a few spoilers. I'm not going to be going everything, just mainly showing some gameplay of what I do. To start us off in the tutorial, we have the Wilder. Not Wilder. Yes, that is what he is. I know what I'm talking about. And was a little bit off, getting used to some things. Usually, when I played Elden Ring, I have Y as jump and A as deal with things. So I was like, okay, I gotta fix that in a minute. Ugh, man, sorry, I just stayed. I may or may not have stayed up till like 2 in the morning playing some of these. So my little tired perhaps. But either way, this game's pretty good. In general thoughts, great. I do recommend it if you were on the fence of playing it. But at the end of the tutorial, we had Morgott, who, of course, destroyed me in average Elden Ring fashion. Wasn't a big fan of that. And I did notice the more you die, your revive counter becomes bigger. So that's an interesting note. Anyways, there was this whole cutscene talking about a Night Lord, something, something. Wayfarers fighting him, something, something. Typical random things. Not going to show the whole cutscene, but just a little bit of it because it looks so cool. Look at that art style. Ooh, that's clean. But yeah, then we make it to Round Table Hold. And I got my brother here to help me as I need a little assistance. It's a lot easier to play through these games when you can actually communicate with someone. When our match was found, I chose to play as the Iron Eye. It's a little bit on the fence, but I've said before, I love archers. My favorite superhero is the Green Arrow, so how can I choose to not be a guy in green shooting arrows? That's just a little on the nose almost for me. So we fly in with this third. And by the way, every game I've played, every single time people chose the samurai, it was crazy. But yeah, 30 seconds in, the dude's already dead. So my hopes for this man are lower than the ground. Couldn't even make it to him. By the way, if you see churches, always do stop at them. They will have a Estus upgrade. I didn't read what they called in this game. So of course, I'm defaulting to Estus. And then we encountered our first boss fight, the Golem. Now, to give a few tips, if you play this guy, because I didn't read what he did, his basic skill basically makes a weak point on an enemy. And I've noticed that makes my damage go up. So definitely make sure you use that whenever you can. Very helpful. Second off, you don't level up as in leveling every... you don't choose a stat. It's just in general upgrades, which is kind of cool. But it's also kind of weird. I've done a few runs by now, and typically you end up fighting a Night Lord maybe around level 10 to 11. Which, that sounds kind of low, but that's not the point. Anyways, a lot of bosses to find. We found, obviously the bubble blowers, golems, the night virgin things, whatever they're called. And I do like the variety of bosses. You do find them randomly, so it's pretty fun. Now, I will say, I saw over there and I had a heart attack. I was really wondering if there are going to be mimics in this game. I feel like it would be perfect if they throw one in, but I haven't seen one yet. The storm is pretty deadly. I got caught in it over here. I was mapping out trajectories, trying to make it through. My bro helped me up, but I just didn't have the healing. So I have died the storm, and if you die, you lose a level, which is I'm also not a fan of. I get losing your souls, but you lose a level 2? Like that's a bit much. Before every night boss, there's a few small enemies you gotta take care of, which I do like. It's not only like a little bit of a warm up, but I believe beating them restores your Estus, and it's pretty easy to beat them without being hit. So it just makes you more prepared for the boss. We had the demi-human duo over here, and it's insane that that little man is just on crack. He is in it to win it. He spins around, he throws around, he is the actual boss. He on his own is crazy. The supporter was the queen, which you would not expect. Another fun thing about the bow is you can revive people from a distance, which is very enjoyable if they're in like a dangerous spot. But anyways, after a few knockdowns, we take down Big Man and we're able to level up. I don't recommend these walking skills because it says has a chance to trigger blah 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 while walking. And then you see it like maybe 3 or 4 times. Like it is not trigger that often. I tried it and it was just not working. Anyways, we found some of the Erdtree avatars. And I will say, I get why there are a lot of Elden Ring regular bosses, mini bosses, I guess, but I was hoping to see some more like Dark Souls bosses too. I have not yet encountered any of the Dark Souls bosses myself. None of the Dark Souls 1, 2, 3. I have no clue if there's any Bloodborne or Sekiro. I don't have an idea. Don't let me know either, actually. That's one thing I don't want. I know they've, added nameless Dukes here Freya, but I want to see when they pop up. But anyways, after taking them down, we're moving right along. The storm was closing in. I felt so bad for this guy. I jumped all the way up here to get to safety. I see the Black Blade Kindred dropped in, and that dude got destroyed by him. I debated going to save him, but like, that's a Black Blade Kindred. I ain't jumping after that. Then we take on the Flame Chariots, which, by the way, it does kind of suck that like you could be in the middle of a boss fight and then the storm just cuts you off, so you have to run. It's not the biggest steal in the world, but like, it kind of almost feels like a waste of time if you don't know. But fun fact, if you do like half a boss's damage, it gets taken by the storm on day 1. You can go back on day 2 and the damage had stayed. So that's neat. Anyways, we fought these omens where I'm like, okay, we're either about to get jumped by Morgott or we're going to fight the Omen twins. Which, if you don't remember, they were like some weird side boss. But either way, it was obviously going to be Morgott. In terms of difference, he has a much bigger knife barrage skill, which is insane. And you should see his second phase blood magic. But either way, well, I guess blood magic. One thing I did notice is a boss will show you who they are targeting. And I really like that, actually. I think that's a really fun little thing that can help the players. Like, knowing it's attacking my bro lets me know, like, okay, I can be much more aggressive. Either way, Morgott, he did take us all down on our first attempt. And that was the end of my first night in Nightreign. A little while later, was able to actually make it to this boss and take him down. So, that's going to be it for this video, of course. If you enjoyed it and want to see more Nightreign, of course, subscribe. I'm going to be pumping out videos very often. There's so much to do, so much to see, and so easy to get through it. And let me know, by the way, what you think of the game so far. I want to have a nice discussion. Like I said, I don't want to be spoiled for like what Dark Souls bosses are in it, but in general, you enjoying it? You think it's fun? Do you think it needs some changes? Like, I think you need to have more HP. The game needs to upgrade that. But yeah, thanks for watching. Have a good day.